Welcome back, y'all. It's time to get into these latest episodes of Married at First Sight. Now I'm finally caught up. Where are the experts? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Okay, we need the experts. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Now, if you are new here, I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And though I have watched all 4 episodes, I'm not going to go into, the weddings and things like that. I want to digest and kind of do a little bit of a more therapeutic analysis on the couples and the different arguments, dynamics, and things that are happening beneath the surface from a therapist perspective. So, if that's what you came here for, to learn about yourself, see how some of these couples reflect you, your relationships. That's what I want to get into more today is looking at the couples and the different things that have come up. But first, hit that like, subscribe, do all the do's. And we got a little bit of an announcement. Okay. One of the past people from Married at First Sight, is having a baby. Okay. We got baby news, y'all. Do y'all remember Jasmine? Jasmine is expecting her first baby. I think she got married earlier this year, I think it was. Well, she has now found her person, her husband, and they are now expecting a baby. Okay. Exclusively reported by People Magazine. Of course, people got the coin. Okay. And they just starting out, so they need a little bit of money. But Jasmine has gotten married and she's having a baby, y'all. So in the comments, let's put some congratulations, healthy, happy baby. Let's wish them all the best. But I remember her from her season. Her husband they matched her with, never been in a relationship, never lived with a woman. His father had passed away when he was a child, and I think he was holding on to a lot of that trauma. He had a wall up. So matching her with somebody who never been with a woman, never really been in a relationship, they really set her up for failure. Okay, they really did. So it's good to see that Miss Mamas is going to be a mother. She's found her happily ever after. It's so interesting how a lot of these people who go on this show and their relationships don't work out on the show, a lot of them end up getting married within probably 2 years of the show actually airing, and then moving on to what they really wanted from the show was a relationship and marriage. So as sad as it is that sometimes they go on this show and it ends up in divorce and a waste of time and a lot of hurt, it's good to see that afterwards they do find love, they bounce back, they're able to find what they were really looking for. So, that's some baby news right there. Congratulations, congratulations. Okay, congrats, congrats, congrats. Jasmine was a wonderful person. And it's just sad how I feel like the experts set her up to fail. Um, but looking at these couples, okay, looking at these couples, we got some things to talk about. And we're going to start with Will and Brittany. Will and Brittany, okay. I want to know from you guys, do you feel like Will is a misunderstood person? Do you? I've seen a lot of people saying that he thinks he's a know-it-all. He's red flags. But it's Brittany. It's Brittany. Okay. Now they get married. We exit, all the wedding festivities and get straight to the honeymoon. Straight to the honeymoon. And I want y'all to think about something. You're trying to get to know somebody you just met, you're married, you skipped all the pre-steps to get married, and then you add on spicy time, intimacy. Okay. You're trying to get to know someone while being physically intimate with them. It doesn't work. It does not work. In this setting, it does not work. So the biggest thing of these episodes were a couple things. Now I want to kind of go over first the argument or the miscommunication to me when they were being intimate and they realized, I'm guessing they weren't using protection and they weren't really being precautious about the activities. Okay? And Brittany is very irritated with him. In the moment she was expecting him to be, I don't know, like maybe a little bit more less logical, more emotional, and more attuned to her needs. But once again, we are getting to know each other by being intimate first. We don't know each other's communication styles. We don't know how we show up in arguments. We don't know each other, but we sticking that thing in that thing. Okay, we sticking that thing in that thing. And so I feel like in some ways, unpopular opinion, in some ways, I feel like Will is misunderstood. I feel like he is someone who typically leans on logic, and I think that why was I gonna say Ashley? I think that Brittany leans on logic. I mean emotion. So you have two people trying to work on this situation and work through the mishap, the miscommunication while being intimate, and how to navigate that when we don't know each other and we don't know each other's communication styles and our needs when we are irritated, our needs when we are going through different things. Okay. And so I think that Brittany tends to overthink and becomes emotional. And she has a lot of, I think, history of poor relationships that move very quickly and chaos. I think she's used to being with people who react and she reacts back. Will does not react and she doesn't know what to do with that. Okay. Pay attention to that, how you respond to different things in your relationship, how you show up, and are you bringing in stuff from that other man you was with into this dynamic? Now, Will, at times, I'm like, okay, at times you are kind of being kind of a dick. Okay, you're being kind of an asshole at times. But she's not used to being with somebody who's just kind of like, I don't really care. Not in the I don't care about you, but just kind of, I want to say passive, but at the same time, I want to just say chill. I think there's a mixture there of being chill and passive that is off-putting. You don't react to nothing, she says. You just like, it doesn't matter. It's okay. You don't care. She wants a reaction. That's what she's used to feeding off of. And he's not feeding into her reactions. Okay. And she brings up the trauma of her past relationships. But I don't think they have learned enough about each other in what, 3 days, 2 days, to understand how to resolve conflict, to understand how to communicate with one another. And he ain't going to chase you. In some ways, and I'm sure y'all might disagree with this. This is a healthy relationship than what she is used to. He's not responding, he's not chasing, and she wants to be chased after. A lot of women like to be chased after because that is a way in their minds that a man shows you that they care about you, is to chase, to react. So being with someone who's not doing that at all, it's like, what do I do with this man? He too chill for me. Okay, he's too logical. And that's the part of me that's like, okay, you have to learn how to balance being logical, but tapping into emotion, being able to show up emotionally the way that she needs you to be. This is why I think that it would have been wiser to not add in intimacy when we don't understand each other, we don't know each other. But I also think it's the pressure of we're married and this is what we're supposed to do. The cameras are here, they're following our every move, and this is what's supposed to be next. Okay. But I think that over and over again, we see how the communication thing and the different personality types that they have makes Brittany feel like we're not even in the same book. We're not on the same page. We're not on the same book. You in a whole nother genre. Okay. And then later on, the next big thing happens for them is when she comes back from meeting up with the ladies. Okay. I feel like they're getting to know each other, but do they see each other? Does she feel seen? Does he feel seen? The way they communicate plus the trauma is putting up a wall. She's starting to put up a wall so soon. We're on the honeymoon. Once that wall comes up in this type of experience, I don't know if it can come down. Okay. And I think, like I said, he has to learn how to, I think, respond not off logic, but more emotional and be a little bit more attuned, have some type of reaction, but not a toxic one. And I think she has to learn how to not overthink, be in her head, question everything. Okay. Especially when she said that after they were being intimate and there was some kind of thing that happened, um, she felt like he didn't like her no more. Like her mind goes straight to a complete negative thing that is he showing me that he doesn't want to be with me? Is he showing me that he doesn't like me? Okay. I just think, adding intimacy at this point is not a good idea. And she says, okay, you know what? I need to go take a shower. And I see her open the door. I'm like, girl, are you going to another room to take a shower? Oh no, girl. She goes downstairs. She leaves. Okay. She leaves the room and she goes downstairs to have some chicken fingers in the lobby. And he laying up in the hammock. Like she says she needs some she says she wants to take a shower, but I guess she needs some space. So I'm gonna give her some space. I'm not gonna run after her. I'm gonna be here when she get back. But it sounds like to me she needs some space. Okay. And while she's having her chicken fingers with her long ass nails, production comes over and they're like, what's going on? What do you think you want from him in this moment? And she says, what I want from him in this moment is to come down here and see what's wrong with me. Once again, she wants him to chase. Okay. She wants him to chase. She's used to men reacting. Pay attention to that, ladies. When you are in an argument or disagreement, you want a man to be obsessed with you. Okay. You want them to chase you, even in your toxic and bad behaviors that you're bringing from that other man. You expect me to do the same thing. And since I am not doing the same thing, you have a problem. Okay. Now, I do think that Will needs to work on himself. Like I said, less logical, stop being a wordsmith. Okay. He also, to me, does not know how to talk to women, does not know how to conversate with women. Okay. Some of their conversations, the arguments that they're having is just because he doesn't know how to really talk to women and she's in her head a lot. So now we have a wall up. Okay. She's putting this wall up and he just kind of, I don't know. Let me know. Is it passive? Is it chill? Is it just that he doesn't read the room and there's some stuff going on with up there? But this is only the beginning, y'all. This is only the beginning. And it's sad to see this happening so soon. Of course, the Black couple is the one having so many issues at this point. It's really sad. All right. But I hope things get better and I hope the experts can come in and really help them navigate the different things that we're seeing so soon. Because right now, they're kind of small, but when you don't address them, you don't talk about them, they'll blow up and become a bigger thing. Okay. They will blow up and become a bigger thing. Now, the next couple I want to talk about, I don't know about Belynda. Okay. We're going to talk about Belynda. But I want to talk about Meghann and Derek. Okay. Watching Meghann get ready for her wedding. Do her mama like her? Okay, do her mama like her? Now I can understand her mom disagrees with the experience, but she's just very cold throughout the whole thing, wearing white to your daughter's bridal stuff, wearing white to the wedding. Who day is it? Okay, who day is it? And now she does say that her mom is controlling. I see it. She also, the thing about her is that she also works for her family. That's a big thing for me. Okay. Because I see somebody who is used to being up under their family, surrounded by their family, not a lot of boundaries. Her mom is probably all up in her business, controlling her, making decisions for her. So I wonder if this is the first time Meghann is on her own without having her family making decisions for her and doing things for her. And she's struggling. She's struggling in this dynamic because now it's me, just me by myself. I'm the one that's supposed to be interacting, making decisions, which is another reason I think she got married at first sight, because the experts do all the work. They do all the work. I just got to show up and be married. I don't have to date you. I don't have to really do all the dating stuff that I probably don't really know how to do. And they're going to do it all for me. Okay. But I can tell she's a very indecisive person. Struggles to make decisions on her own. And I don't know if she's the most secure person either. I think on paper she is. She has it going on paper. But when it comes to watching her and Derek be together, Derek is leading, and I just think she's not used to being put on the spot. And she starts to, I don't want to say crash out, but she kind of starts to become overwhelmed and be put on the spot. Now, for the most part, they're doing okay. I believe that they have also been intimate, but we see this scene where um they're on, I think like a, I don't know, I don't want to say kayaking, but they're out in the ocean, having a scene. I was gonna say a good time, but it wasn't a good time. Having a scene, and I believe she falls off of her surfboard. Okay, what do y'all call it when you're on the surfboard? Y'all got the long wooden paddle, and y'all just in the ocean. It's supposed to be like really good exercise, but I can't think of what it's called right now. But she falls off hers, and at first I didn't think he was gonna like check and see if she was really okay. But after a minute or two, he jumps off of his surfboard and gets in the water with her, which she's very surprised about. Okay. I think she's very caught off guard by him probably coming and checking on her. And then I don't know if this was the right time to do this, but he starts to bring up how he hasn't felt like they're really communicating, and she's asking questions to get to know him. And she says, well, I feel like you're doing the same thing back. I don't want this to become a tit for tat thing, but I also kind of feel like you're not really working to get to know me either. They're talking in circles. They're both saying the same thing, and I just don't know if being in the ocean, her just falling off of her surfboard, trying to recover and get her bearings is the right moment to have this conversation. Okay. And so, they both say they don't really feel like they know what each other does for their career. Once again, I think y'all was intimate a little bit too soon. You should have got to know each other, but he got them abs and you probably couldn't resist. All right. But once she gets back on the sand, she said, what does she say? She feels like she's not being bombarded. Um, but she used a word that I can't think of right now. Um, but she's upset, basically. She's upset about the conversation. She just needs to catch her bearings because it was a little bit much for her in that moment. And does she have siblings? Is another thing I wonder. Does she have siblings? Because she just seems like she's not used to being on the spot. And I think the whole filming, the wedding, being on the honeymoon is all catching up to her very fast. Okay. I think there's potential there, but I think she was also expecting a package deal. Like I said, all I got to do is show up at the wedding, get married, and move on, and we'll be happily ever after. I don't think she realized the amount of work that still comes with marrying someone at first sight. Okay. And like I said in my, when I was getting to know the cast in my live, the fact that she's also not smiling in any of her photos says something to me also. Um, but I just wonder if she's someone who's very sheltered. Her mother's very controlling. Has she ever been able to have a voice? Oh, and that makes me also like a little thing just happened. Her mom being very critical and controlling. Is she used to having a voice? Was it re-triggering for her to have him talk to her, even though he wasn't yelling, he wasn't confronting her, but maybe that dynamic may have triggered something that, um, had her think about the dynamic between her and her mother. Okay, now that I'm actually thinking about it, it could have just been all too much and reminded her of what she doesn't want to be with or be around at times, which is her mother. Okay. And I also want to talk about Rhonda and Pat. Hopefully I get these. I'm getting the names right tonight, y'all. Y'all need to applaud me in the, in the comments because I'm terrible at names. So Rhonda and Pat. Okay. Rhonda is a hopeless romantic. Her kids were present at the wedding. She wore a red dress. She has a very outgoing personality. To the right person, it's good. To the wrong person, it's too much. And her kids even say, I hope he can kind of not deal with you, or did they say that? I hope he can deal with you basically, because sometimes mom, you can be a little bit much. Okay. Now they both have been previously married. She has not been married for 25 years. So I wonder how it would be for going from being by yourself, independent, not really having to think about nobody else. I guess her kids are probably maybe around that age too, but not having to think about like another partner. How is she gonna, jump into a relationship? Now it was pretty cool to see them jump into the pool together. I really like that. They jumped into the pool after their wedding with their clothes on. That to me is like a core memory. She loves love to the point that I wonder if she's moving too fast. They sleep together. She also says, I love you on the honeymoon. Slow your roll, Rhonda. Slow your roll a little bit. Okay. Let the food digest in your stomach before go get another plate. But the thing that I like about Ron and Pat is that I think Ron has never really been heard. I wonder about his past marriage, and I wonder if the person he was married to before didn't have enough patience with him. Rhonda has patience where she is like, let's talk about some things. I feel like when we talk, you're just talking, but you're not asking about me. And when we conversate and have conversations, and I bring up stuff about myself, or you ask me about something, you turn around and make it about you. And he later says, I'm uncomfortable with silence. So he feels like he needs to fill the conversation with something, so he keeps talking. Part of me is like, is there a little bit ADHD right there? The way he's like, oh yeah, no, over there was this on in my story. Kind of wonder if there's a little bit ADHD there. Um, but the way she is calmly talking to him, like, hey, let's work on this. You're talking a lot, and I feel like you're not trying to get to know me. She could have crashed out. She could have went off on him about it. But the way she has patience with him, especially the scene where I think we're at like a waterfall and he was apologizing. I was like, wow, this has a potential to work. And maybe all he ever needed was somebody who has patience. But how long will that patience last? Okay, how long will the patience last? And as a therapist in that moment, watching him apologize and hold her hand and look at her, it's almost like I could see the little boy in him. One to be seen, one to be heard, and just feeling like safe. I wonder if Pat is in a place where he feels safe with her. And I don't know if men actually, if we ever talk about men needing and wanting to feel safe in relationships and, some of the trauma they have been through themselves with women, mothers, other wives, they're bringing into the dynamic too. And it's like almost as if this relationship is the first time he's been with someone and they're actually making him feel safe. So I hope that they can learn how to communicate better. They are seeing one another. So far, the hiccups to me are just more about communication. Okay. But it's like you could see to me like the little boy in him finally feeling safe enough to say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with silence. I apologize. I do want to get to know you. And she says, I love you. Okay. I was like, I see why she's been married. She married the first time very quickly. I think she married the first person after like a month or something. And then 3 months later, they had a kid. The second relationship, she was only married to that person. Did she say 18 months? But I could see how she falls for people fast. It's just like her personality and kind of just she's kind of like a bird, not like the negative side of a bird, but just likes to fly and be, out there and just enjoy life. And I think he might need someone like that. So hopefully, they can work through some things. Because it's not really too much right now that's really, okay, I'm not going to work. Chad and Belynda. Okay. At first, I was kind of feeling a little bit sorry for Belynda. I wasn't too sure about Chad. I'm still not too sure about Chad. But the thing is, Chad has been married 3 times. It's his 4th marriage. And at first I was like, why they put this woman who got cheated on her whole relationship with this man who been married this his 4th time? Why they do this to this lady? Okay. But then, as the episodes went on, he went and bought her a new ring when he really didn't have to. Before they went to the honeymoon, he went and got her a new ring. She got him a new ring. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe this is just a man, as his friend said at the reception, who has been hurt. Been hurt so many times that he has a wall up. And maybe Belynda's ability to be nurturing and how open she is can break that wall. But is it really her role, her responsibility to go into a marriage having to break a wall? Okay. That is my only thing about him, is that he jokes a lot. He can be sarcastic. But I think when you get to know him past the trauma, I think there's a good person there. And I hope that they can make things work. In the previews, I really didn't see too much drama with them. So I'm hoping after everything Belynda has been through, her and her daughter being the first daughter duo to get married on this show, it can end very well and things can go well. But that's my only concern, is that his past hurts um, can really ruin things for them. Okay. And then I think the last couple we have is Josh and Jaylyn, which is interesting because Josh got her a ring too. Okay, Josh decided, oh, you need a bigger rock. Okay, my wife needs to be walking around with a rock on her hand. I'm like, yes, she do, baby boo. Yes, she do. Show her from the beginning you love her. All right. Now, their biggest thing, if anything, has just been because he owns a business, his business partner wants him to get a post nup. She's like, I understand. No problems over here. And I know it's with them, they are constantly physically affectionate, showing each other that, I like you, I want to be with you, holding hands, kissing. She is stepping out of her comfort zone to be outdoorsy, be adventurous. She is willing to get uncomfortable to make the relationship work, and not uncomfortable in a negative way, but learn about his likes and hopefully him learn about her likes. But right now, there's really nothing negative between them. They're doing pretty well. Okay. He seems like a good guy. Him and his, I guess, new stepfather in law, I guess it would be. They seem to be doing well, getting to know each other. It's just interesting how they both gave their wives new rings. I wonder if they went to the ring shop together and we just didn't see that part. Okay. But outside, the couples, some of them having issues already, I do feel like this is missing just a tad bit of that lifetime spice. Okay. It is missing a little bit of that. Um, and after watching these 4 episodes, bring back the after party. Okay. But make it so that, I don't know, y'all just need to, I think, switch it up a little bit, and let me know in the chat how they can switch it up. But I think they should bring it back so we can have a little bit more insight into some of the scenes than what we were getting just from watching the episodes. So maybe have the experts come on, maybe have the couples come on. I don't know how they would do it, because I guess they would film it at the same time as the season. I don't know. But I would like for it to come back, so I do need a little bit more insight to some of these things that are happening. Bring back Keisha, bring back everybody so they can all get their checks back. Everybody behind the scenes holding them cameras, micing people up, sound people. Come on, bring them back. It's a recession. Everybody needs their money. Okay, so I did miss it, all right? We need that. Okay, we really need that a little bit. Even if it's not the people from the actual couples, maybe I could bring on people who recap the show. Okay. Bring on people who recap the show, a therapist. Okay. And some other folks who like watching the show, who've been watching it since the beginning, who have maybe our own insights, our own questions about it. So I think they should bring it back and just switch it up a little bit. Bring back Keisha, of course. We don't need probably the drink of the night. Do something else. Okay. But these episodes from a therapist perspective, it gave me a lot to digest and talk about and look at. If you are used to watching the Lifetime version, if and you're used to watching it just for the drama, so far you're not getting that. Okay. Even if we are in the first couple episodes of the wedding, the honeymoon, Lifetime would have figured out a way to kind of throw some spice up here to keep y'all watching. Peacock is not really doing that as much, which is, I guess kind of good, kind of good. All right. But looking at these couples, who actually gonna make it? Let's see. Okay. I'm on the fence about Will and Brittany. If they can get the experts in there to really start working with them, they can make it. Belynda and Chad, I think they might make it. Joss and Jaylyn, yeah. Rhonda and Pat, so far nothing that's like, gonna split them up. Derek and Meghann, I'm on the fence about. Okay, they good on paper, but lifestyle. Let's see what happened after the honeymoon. I have to live together and her mama and her business. Okay, how are things going? What they gonna look like? Okay, what they gonna look like? But these are the first, 4 episodes. What do y'all think? I just kind of this season want to focus more on the dynamics of the relationship, not actually recapping this happened, that happened, and this happened, but digging deep into each of the couples. How many of y'all can relate to anybody? Okay, do you see yourself in any of these people? But of course, let me know your thoughts. We can get active in the chats. Make sure you guys hit that like, you subscribe, you do all the do to support this channel. Who do you think is pregnant? I still think it's Jaylyn. Okay, I still think Jaylyn is the one who got pregnant. But we have some more episodes coming up this week. So I'll be here to recap them with you. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.